As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holy. The house of Jacob shall possess their possession. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau a stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau.
Shalom, Israel. It's Chief Priest Lithiel.
Shalom, Israel. I'm the reader, Priest Ron Ben Israel.
And we're with Holy Nation of Israel. And we're back again with the conclusion to Revelation chapter 20, the sparks among the stubble. But before we begin, as always, first and foremost, we're going to give all honor and all glory and all praises to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, through his son, Jesus the Christ. Now, to all my brothers and sisters out there, as always, once again, get your Bibles and read along with us if you can. Get your notebooks, get your pens, get your paper, get your pencils, and take notes if it's in your spirit. Lord's will, this will be an edifying addition and an edifying conclusion to Revelation chapter 20. And we're going to get right into it. Let's open up with Joel chapter 2 and verse 1.
The book of Joel, chapter 2, starting at verse 1.
Read.
Blow ye the trumpet in Zion.
Read.
And sound an alarm in my holy mountain.
What is his holy mountain? The land of Israel, as we read in the previous addition to this lesson. The precepts to that being Ezekiel 20 and 40 and Joel chapter 3 and verse 17. Keep reading, priest.
Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble.
Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble. What is this land here? What is this land? This land right here is making reference to the entire earth. Joel is saying, let all the inhabitants of the entire earth tremble. And we're going to show you that this word land is making reference to the entire earth. Get the book of Genesis chapter 1, and let's start in verse 9.
The book of Genesis chapter 1 and verse 9.
Bring it out.
And God said, let the water under the heaven be gathered together unto one place.
Read.
And let the dry land appear.
Read.
And it was so.
Read.
And God called the dry land earth.
What did he call the land?
Earth.
So the dry land, the land is called the earth. Let's get another precept to back that up. Give me the book of Matthew chapter 27. Matthew chapter 27 and verse 45. What is the land making reference to? It's making reference to the earth in its entirety. Or the dry land is the earth. However you want to put it. Matthew chapter 27 and verse 45.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 27 and verse 45.
Read.
Now from the 6th hour there was darkness over all the land.
From the 6th hour being what today we know as 12 noon. From the 6th hour, there was darkness over all the land until when?
Land until the 9th hour.
Until the 9th hour. The 9th hour being what today we call 3 p.m. So it was darkness over all the land. Give me the book of Luke. Luke chapter 23 and verse 44. So it was darkness over all the land for 3 hours. It was darkness over all the land from the 6th hour to the 9th hour. Luke 23 and 44.
The book of St. Luke, chapter 23 and verse 44.
Read.
And it was about the 6th hour. And there was a darkness over all the earth.
Over all what?
Over all the earth.
Read.
Until the 9th hour.
What is that annotation next to earth?
Annotation next to earth is land.
So the land, once again, is making reference to the earth. Let's go back to the book of Joel, chapter 2, and let's read verse 1 again.
The book of Joel, chapter 2, starting at verse 1.
Read.
Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain.
Read.
Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble.
Let all the inhabitants of the earth tremble. You know what? Hold this. Get Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 20. Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 20. What does the word inhabitant mean? An inhabitant is a person or an animal that lives or occupies a place. What place? What are the inhabitants here of the land? Read this real quick. Ezekiel 38 and 20.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 38 and verse 20.
Read.
So that the fishes of the sea, the fowls of heaven, and the beasts of the field, and all creeping things that creep upon the earth.
These are the animals. These are the animals of the earth, the animals of the land. Read.
And all the men.
And all who?
And all the men.
Read.
That are upon the face of the earth.
Read.
Shall shake.
Shall what?
Shall shake at my presence.
Go back to the book of Joel, chapter 2, and verse 1 again.
The book of Joel, chapter 2, starting at verse 1.
Read.
Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain.
Blow a trumpet in Zion, and sound the alarm in my holy mountain, in the land of Israel. Read.
Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble.
Let all the inhabitants, all the animals, all the men upon the earth tremble and shake at my presence. Read.
For the day of the Lord cometh.
For the day of the Lord cometh, and what?
For it is nigh at hand.
So the day of the Lord cometh, and it is nigh at hand. What day of the Lord is this? Let's find out. Give me the book of Obadiah, verse 15.
Obadiah, verse 15.
Read.
For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen.
Read it again.
For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen.
This day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. Let's get the definition of all real quick.
Definition of all.
Read.
Used to refer to the whole quantity or extent of a particular group or thing.
So the word all is used to refer to the whole quantity or to the extent of a particular group or thing. Let's go back to the book of Obadiah, verse 15 again.
Obadiah, verse 15.
Read.
For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen.
This day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As we read down, we're going to find out that this day of the Lord is near upon all this particular group of heathen. Let's find out who this heathen is. Read.
As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee.
As this heathen has done in the earth, it's going to be done again to them. You remember? You reap what you sow. It's that universal concept that we call karma.
Mm-hmm.
Keep reading, priest.
Thy reward shall return upon thy own head.
Read.
For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain,
Uh-huh.
so shall all the heathen drink continually.
All of this particular group of heathen is going to drink continually from the wrath of the cup of the Lord. Continue, priest.
Yea, they shall drink,
Uh-huh.
and they shall swallow down,
Read.
and they shall be as though they had not been.
There's going to come a particular time when this group of heathen is going to be as though they never existed in the world. As though they never existed in this earth. As though they never walked on this land. Let's keep reading and find out who this heathen is.
But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance,
Read.
and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possession,
Read.
and the house of Jacob shall be a fire.
The house of Jacob shall be what?
A fire.
Remember this. The house of Jacob will be as a fire. Read.
In the house of Joseph, a flame.
Remember this. The house of Joseph will be as a flame. Continue.
And the house of Esau.
In the house of who?
Esau.
Esau is your friendly neighborhood white man. Esau is the Caucasian.
Oh, woman.
Man or woman. Salakia. All praises to the Most High. Esau is your friendly neighborhood white man or woman. They're the Caucasian. Irregardless of what Caucasian you say it is. British Caucasian, American Caucasian, Russian Caucasian, German Caucasian, Jewish Caucasian, on and on and on. The house of Esau shall be for what?
For
The
stubble.
house of Esau shall be for what?
For stubble.
Read.
And they
And they shall what?
shall kindle in them.
The two, is the house of Jacob and the house of Joseph. The house of Jacob, which is like a fire. The house of Joseph, which is like a flame. It says they're going to kindle in them. Keep reading.
And devour them.
And they're going to devour them. Read.
And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau.
And there will be no more men, women, or children remaining of the house of Esau. Finish that out.
For the Lord has spoken.
And that was spoken by the Lord. So what day of the Lord is this? This is the day of the Lord that's near upon all the heathen. All what group of heathen? All the heathen of the house of Esau. Let's go back to the book of Joel chapter 2 and let's read verse 2.
Book of Joel, chapter 2, starting at verse 2.
Read.
A day of darkness and of gloominess.
This day of the Lord that's near upon all the heathen is a day of darkness and a day of gloominess. Read.
A day of clouds and of thick darkness.
Meaning it's a day of vehicles of war and a day of thick darkness. Read.
As the morning spread upon the mountains. A great people.
This is a great people. A great people that is gathered together. Read.
And a strong.
And they are strong people that's gathered together. Read.
There have not been ever the like.
And there's never been a group or a people like this ever before recorded in human history. Read.
Neither shall be any more
And
after it.
you'll never see a people like this anymore after it. What people is this? This is the children of Israel, the men of Israel, gathered together as that army. This is Judah, this is Ephraim, made to be that sword in the hand of that mighty man, gathered together for war. Let's keep reading, priest.
Even to the years of many generations.
Even to the years of many generations, you will never see an army like this again. Keep reading, priest.
Verse 3. A fire devoureth before them.
A what?
A fire devoureth before them.
What is this? What is this fire that devoureth before them? This fire is the house of Jacob. This fire is the house of Jacob that we read about in Obadiah. Obadiah verse 18. Keep reading, priest.
And behind them a flame burneth.
A what?
A flame burneth.
What is this flame that burns behind them? The house of Joseph. Like we just read about in Obadiah 18. Keep reading, priest.
The land is as the Garden of Eden.
Before them, as they're exiting, the land is as the Garden of Eden. Meaning what? Meaning it's prosperous. Meaning it's rich in natural resources. It's thriving. The land before them is as the Garden of Eden. Continue, priest.
And behind them a desolate wilderness.
But behind them is a desolate wilderness. Behind them is nothing but destruction. Everything is destroyed behind them. Keep reading, priest.
Yea, and nothing shall escape them.
And what?
And nothing shall escape them.
And nothing shall escape them. Why? Because there's going to be none remaining of the house of Esau. Not man, not woman, not child. Not in this day. Keep reading.
Verse 4. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses.
The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses. Hold this. Give Proverbs 21:31. Why is it comparing these men, this army, to horses? What is the similitude behind this? Or what is the understanding behind this similitude? Let's find out. Proverbs 21:31.
Book of Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 31.
Read.
The horse is prepared against the day of battle.
These men are compared to horses because these men, this army, they're prepared for this particular day of battle. They were created for this particular day of battle. That's why the Bible compares these men to horses. Give me the book of Job chapter 39. Job 39 and verse 19. Bring it out, priest.
The book of Job chapter 39 and verse 19.
Read.
Hast thou given the horse strength?
These men are compared to horses because the Lord himself is going to be the one that strengthens these men, that strengthens this army. Remember, this army is as a sword in the hand of a mighty man. Keep reading, priest.
Hast thou clove his neck with thunder?
The Lord is going to clothe their necks with thunder in that day. Read.
Canst thou make him afraid?
Nothing, no one will make this man afraid. There's no instrument of war that will make this man, this army, afraid. They're not going to be fearful. Keep reading.
As a grasshopper. The glory of his nostrils is terrible.
Even the way this man breathes is terrible. Keep reading.
He paweth and devoureth.
When a horse paweth, he's kicking up his legs. He's kicking up his legs, preparing to charge. To charge head first, full force. Keep reading.
and rejoiceth in his strength.
And he rejoices in his strength. Remember, the Lord is comparing a horse, these men, to horses. The same way these horses are, the Lord made these horses, that's how the Lord made these men that were prepared for this day of battle. Keep reading.
He goeth on to meet the armed men.
Read.
He mocketh at fear.
He does what?
Mocketh at fear.
Read.
And is not frighted. Neither turneth he back from the sword.
He doesn't turn back from any instrument of war. Read.
The quiver rattleth against him.
The quiver is his holster. That's where he keeps his weapon. Read.
The glittering spear.
The what?
The glittering spear.
That's his weapon. Read.
And the shield he swalloweth the ground with fierceness.
This man swalloweth up the ground with fierceness. Read.
And rage. Neither believeth he that is the sound of the trumpet.
Read.
Verse 25. He saith among the trumpets, Ha, ha.
He laughs. Read.
And he smelleth the battle afar off.
He smells all the death, all the blood shed afar off. Read.
The thunder of the captains and the shouting.
He hears all the thunderings of the captains. He hears the shoutings, meaning he hears the cries. He hears the screams. He hears all of these things. Come on, go back to Joel chapter 2. Joel chapter 2 and verse 4.
The book of Joel chapter 2 and verse 4.
Read.
The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses.
Why does the Lord liken these men, this army, to horses? First and foremost, because these men and this army was prepared. They are prepared for this particular day, this particular battle, this particular war. Secondly, because they've been strengthened by the Lord. Their neck is clothed with thunder. They don't turn from any sword, any instrument of war. They're not afraid. They smell the battle afar off, but they pause and they charge head first. That's why the Lord compares these men to horses. Keep reading. Read that part again.
Verse 4. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses.
Read.
And as horsemen, so shall they run.
And it says, as horsemen, so shall they run. How shall they run? Jump down to verse 9.
Verse 9. They shall run to and fro.
They shall what?
They shall run to and fro.
Where?
In the city.
In the city. Hold right there. Hold that. Hold that right there. Give me the book of Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3. It says they shall run to and fro through the city. Give me the book of Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3 and let's start in verse 7.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3 starting at verse 7.
Read.
And in the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro.
They're going to run to and fro how?
Like sparks.
Like what?
Like sparks.
Read.
Amongst the stubble.
Among what?
Among the stubble.
What is the stubble? The stubble is the house of Esau. It says in the time of their visitation, this army, these men, they're going to shine. And they're going to run to and fro like the sparks among the stubble. Let's go back to the book of Joel chapter 2 and verse 9 again.
The book of Joel chapter 2 starting at verse 9. They shall run to and fro in the city.
They shall run to and fro like sparks among the stubble in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Keep reading.
They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief.
Is that the end of that verse?
Yep.
They're gonna enter through the windows like a thief. Jump up to verse 5.
Verse 5.
Read.
Like the noise of chariots.
Like the noise of chariots. Read.
On the tops of mountains. Shall they leap.
Read.
Like the noise of a flame.
Like the noise of what?
Of a flame.
What's that flame? What's that flame? The house of Joseph. The house of Joseph is that flame. Like the noise of a flame. Read.
Of fire.
Of what?
Of fire.
What's that fire? The house of Jacob. Read.
That devoureth the stubble.
that devoureth what?
The stubble.
That devoureth what?
The stubble.
That flame, that fire. The house of Jacob, the house of Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. What is this talking about? This is talking about the destruction, the end of Esau in its entirety. And with that, we say shalom.
Shalom Israel.